Let's bring in Nick Cater from the Menzies Research Centre. He joins us from Sydney, and Lisa Goddard from Adoni Media joins us from Brisbane. Thanks both for joining us. So I want to start on energy. It's something I like to harp on about because it's such a mess around this country. I see there's some new polling out that shows over 60% of Australians, Lisa, believe that the push to renewables is pushing up their power bills. Well, yeah, that just shows us that Australians know what's going on.
Well, exactly, and it shows that they're more concerned about cost of living than they are about the climate at this point in time. But what really interested me in this is you've got over 20% of people who are saying that they just don't understand or even give any thought to the fact that this renewable push will have an impact on electricity at all. What planet are they living on? Like, where are they hiding that they're not understanding that we are seeing electricity prices go up month on month? I was at a house the other day with a pensioner, and it was sweltering here in Queensland, and she refused to put the air conditioning or the fans on because she was so terrified about her electricity bill. That's the Australia that we are living in right now. So yep. I just think it is nothing in this survey surprised me at all, sadly.
Yeah, some of those people you say who have no idea what's going on about it, who don't think there's any impact. Nick, I'm certain in some cases there are just people who are ignorant, who don't really understand how this works at all. But it's also people who just have plenty of money. If they're wealthy, then their power bill is really only a small part of their outgoings. They hardly give it any thought. But people on fixed incomes or families trying to survive with a house full of hungry kids, they notice the power bill. The power bill is a massive cost that comes around every quarter.
Yeah, I mean, in economic terms, we call it a regressive tax. That is, it hits the poor hardest. It's a much larger percentage of their weekly income than it is if you live in Mossman, for instance. So it is serious. But this shows, I think, that Australian people are actually smarter than Chris Bowen. I mean, he's still insisting, Chris, would you believe it? He is still saying that renewable energy is the cheapest form of energy there is.
Just idiotic.
Well, clearly, the public are onto this. They understand that it's, wind and solar, sun may be free, but you've got to build the transmission lines, the solar panels, the turbines, and all that takes money. They know that.
Yeah, people are starting to get it, that's for sure. They also understand that Australia can't change the climate. They also understand that, they might think we need to do our bit. But while China's expanding rapidly and global emissions are going up, they know what we do here is completely pointless anyway. Which brings me to COP28 meetings in Dubai. Chris Bowen has arrived there last night. All the usual climate crew, the world in, the Davos crew, really. A lot of billionaires, a lot of diplomats, a lot of environmentalists, all telling the rest of the world what to do. And I've got to show you this comment that the ABC got from the mining magnate from Australia, Andrew Twiggy Forrest. He wants to have a go at the oil and gas executives. He thinks that they're just making money instead of worrying about the planet. But listen to the violent picture he conjures up.
They're not smart at all. They're just selfish beyond belief. And when these deaths occur, and they're occurring now, but when they incur at much larger scale, I want these so-called people who are very smart to be held to account. It's their heads which should be put up on spikes because they willfully ignored and they didn't care.
Really? He's at COP, he's talking to the ABC. Maybe he thinks this is the way they're all on the same team here. You put the company executives' heads on spikes, Lisa?
Yeah, and look, this is a man who, let's face it, this whole renewable transformation, which it's being called now, is being underwritten by the taxpayer. And Twiggy Forrest isn't doing too badly in it if you look at the sums. When you look at the subsidies that are being handed out as far as hydrogen goes, he's doing quite well, thank you very much. So for him to stand there and then criticise the coal and gas bosses who, at the end of the day, we're relying on to keep the lights on in this country, I just think it's a bit rich.
Yeah, that's the substance. You're absolutely right. I mean, he's wrong. We need gas and fuel. We can't run the country without gas and oil. That's a simple fact. But, Nick, he's saying that in Dubai, when just up the road, a few hundred kilometres up the road, it was 5 minutes ago, we had Islamist thugs putting heads on stakes. I mean, he shouldn't talk like that.
He shouldn't use that language, Chris, but if he's going to use that language, then his head should be on the line too. Twiggy Forrest's company, Squadron Energy, is right now planning to build a gas plant in Dubbo, the first of a series in New South Wales to back up their renewable energy, which can't provide fuel 24-hour days. And he received, or his company, Squadron Energy, received $40 million from the New South Wales government to get them started on a gas import terminal in Wollongong. He's up to his neck in the gas business, so either it's good or it's bad, and he's up to his neck in it, Chris, because he knows that his windmills and solar panels won't do it alone. He's got to have the backup.
He's also a billionaire because of iron ore, and without coal, iron ore is just a rock. His whole wealth is built on the carbon emissions from turning his iron ore into steel. What an absolute hypocrite. Just quickly, I've got to get your thoughts on Taylor Swift being named the Person of the Year. Now, I understand she's a sensation. I understand she writes the songs and she's made billions. She's a canny businesswoman as well as a great entertainer. Can you help me out by naming a couple of Taylor Swift numbers, Lisa?
Oh no! Did you have to throw that one to me? Look, I'm full admission. I'm going to the Taylor Swift concert because my daughter has tickets, so I'll be able to tell you that. It was in February, I think she's appearing. So come back to me in February, Chris. But look, what I don't understand is how did she get that? But Barbie was also in the running. How can Barbie be Person of the Year or considered to be Person of the Year? So
yeah,
you look at the competition. I guess it's good that Taylor Swift got it.
Last time I checked, yeah, Barbie's not actually a person, but I think the Taylor Swift phenomenon is incredible. I suppose you have music, a lot of music is gender orientated. I mean, it's mainly young women and girls who like Taylor Swift.
That's
I suppose the same way
right?
as it's mainly blokes who like AC/DC, but it's an interesting choice, Nick.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a little vignette for our times, isn't it, Chris? I mean, the time Person of the Year used to be someone of substance, used to be a leader, you know, world leader. But there's no Nelson Mandela anymore.
I'll give you the strong tip.
Ronald Reagan, there's no Margaret Thatcher.
I'll give you the strong tip. Yeah, exactly, Nick. The reason is there's no people of substance left, so we're getting yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Time magazine can't identify them.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for joining us, Nick and Lisa. We'll talk to you again. We are just about out of time. I was going to include some of your feedback to last night's interview with Marcia Hines. There's a songstress that a lot of us appreciate. Norma says, I have the deepest respect for this beautiful lady who shows nothing but grace and humility. Lots of other good feedback too. I'm so glad Marcia chose to call Australia home.